Antonio Ibokitty has always known he wanted to help people, but never did he think his first steps to becoming a doctor would be like this.
And not even my wildest dreams that I think, oh, I'll be doing school online virtually. It's just something that's just so foreign.
You know, our class, we call ourselves the COVID babies because it was a very interesting time. And so we started completely online, completely on Zoom. When I met everybody, we were all little squares on a screen.
This curriculum really has a hands-on and collaborative type of approach. So starting online where all we got to do was work online kind of didn't really foster that environment. So that presented the first challenge.
We were starting in just really uncertain times, and back then I remember the summer of 2020, it felt like things were never gonna get back to normal, and that was very concerning.
Our life was pretty regimented. We'd wake up, go to class, and then, except my classroom was, a couple feet from my bed because we were on Zoom all day. So definitely got into a routine pretty easily, pretty quickly.
Creating those relationships were a little delayed, which is actually something I kind of mourn about my med school experience. I think so many people are like, oh, you make best friends in your first year. COVID kind of robbed us a little bit of that, but I think we've made up for it on the back end. But yeah, so that was definitely difficult, but I also think it's bonded us in a way that no other class would have been bonded, because we had to figure out how to study for these things alone or in a virtual environment, which was just a new challenge, but it was an exciting challenge. We had a drive-through white coat ceremony, but it was like a giant party outside in this parking lot. And we pulled up and there was balloons everywhere and faculty members we had never seen in person.
And we did our little drive-through, received our white coats and all of that. It was kind of very surreal looking back on it. And being able to attend a few of our classes in person, it was very special to all of us, even during very trying times. But they also made sure that they didn't lose the gravity of what COVID meant to the healthcare world. They made sure that that was very impressed upon us.
So we're here, finally. We're finally here. Basically a rite of passage, one where we are joining the marriage between the most iconic symbols in medicine with that of the lifelong duty of empathy and compassion. While COVID robbed us of valuable live interaction, it also robbed our sweet friend and classmate Lauren Moore of her two grandparents.
To have this experience and for them to not be here was a little difficult, but it was also a good experience to be with my classmates.
Rebecca Sobolewski bravely navigated the loss of her sister Rachel to complications of epilepsy and somehow continues to show up providing laughter to the class with big smiles that she's known for.
Right after I'd experienced a very traumatic event, the death of my sister, and I had to come back to school and take an exam. And I was having a very hard time focusing, a very, very difficult time studying. I could not get through this material for this exam. There was a group of about 10 or so of my classmates who sat at the library with me every single day until the day before this, actually it might have been the day of the exam, for hours and hours and hours, making sure that I understood every single piece of that information. And I passed that exam, not by much, but I passed that exam, and they brought me food and they took care of me and they made me laugh. And to this day, I will never forget that group of people, and I will never forget that experience that I had with them.
And then Madeline Gallagher, well, she kicked cancer's butt. Truly, resilience was our vaccine, and this class was vaccinated 100% from day one.
Very proud to share with you that thanks to an anonymous donor couple who are previous donors to our medical school, because of them, you will have your tuition for this next year paid.
We made the right decision being here. I mean, this is just another reinforcement of just how much you guys care.
This has just been first year of medical school is hard, and I think it's been a really hard year for a lot of us. And so to just get this kind of news it means a lot.
And not to mention, applying to medical school can be quite expensive. I worked 3 jobs while I was applying to medical school just to make sure I didn't limit myself.
When I learned that we had a generous donation to our school to help cover our tuition, I felt extremely grateful. I was ecstatic to tell my family members. I remember my mom and my dad crying on the phone and saying, "This is incredible." And then the fact that it happened multiple times for our class was truly a miracle.
At 36 years old, Syed is the oldest person in class. His goal to serve the underserved. And he's already doing it through a nonprofit that gives new shoes to kids who desperately need them. He says the free tuition will allow him to continue his service.
The fact that I went through med school wearing that title, Father First, Student Second, I didn't compromise on that, and it's been my biggest accomplishment that I was able to finish but still be dad. And I'm just hoping that my mom and my sister are looking down on me and they're just as proud.
Really, I wasn't able to see most of my classmates until kind of this next phase, the second phase of our medical education. I thought really it showed the resiliency that we as a class have as a whole. But even then, like being able to go back and chat and hang out with some of my classmates after going through all that and seeing that just how amazing all of my peers are, it's been just an incredible experience.
Is there any moment for you that was kind of like special or funny that you feel like just to stick with you?
So one that really talks about our class and really embodies our class is our very last test. We all surprised Pat Powers.
What's up, man?
Hey. I like your jacket. Looks good. Oh.
He wore the same exact outfit to every single test. We noticed that about him. And so we surprised him. We all dressed in the same shirt, the same cardigan, the same pants, and the same shoes as he did, and surprised him on our last test.
Rosacea, R-O-S-A-C-E-A.
Correct. We're all secretly competitive, or maybe not so secretly, but it's just a fun way to get to know each other a little bit better.
My name is Leticia Rivera, and I'm going to try to recite the numbers of pi, if I remember any of them. 3.141596525.
3.142657. We're gonna end with that.
So like when we all got our match, like I was obviously like so excited for myself, like, but then like 2 seconds later, I'm like turning to the right, turning to the left, like hugging my classmates, like crying for them because I'm just as excited for them as I am for myself and where I'm going next because I knew their goals. I knew how hard they'd work to get there.
Nicole Jameson, I'm going to Stanford for pediatrics.
UCLA!
My name is Ben Jacobs. I matched OBGYN at Duke University.
Hi, I'm Sarah Person, and I matched internal medicine at Harris Hospital here in Fort Worth. Woo!
And Shirley Hazelton, and I matched urology at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
My name is Amir Mostafavi, and I matched the University of Michigan for interventional radiology.
What? Mayo Clinic!
So I think just on match day, it was just like the epitome of everything, and like getting to go up to each individual person, my closest friends and the ones that maybe I don't talk to as much, and knowing like they'd also gotten their dream match and their dream school was just the most special moment.
I guess I'd say like it's been a great ride, guys. I'm excited for all of us, and yeah, I know y'all are all going to do great things.
I love my classmates. I think that we're all bonded in a very unique way with the pandemic, and I'm going to really miss their companionship and being able to like text them and see how they're doing. But I think that's what I'm going to miss the most.
I can like confidently say that like I have met some of my absolute best friends in this class. Like the thought of leaving them for residency while we're all excited to go on our journeys is like, it's pretty sad. It's a pretty bittersweet time to have to leave everyone, but we have such hardworking go-getters in this class, and like I said, some of like the best friends that I've developed.
My first message is I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of your journey to becoming the physician you really wanted to be. And my second message would be a lot of people are always going to wonder what would have happened if the COVID class was not the best class of all. And really, I guess we'll never know.
The quote that I'm going to use is from the philosopher Taylor Swift, and it's to make the friendship bracelets, take the moment and taste it. You've got no reason to be afraid. You're on your own, kid. You always have been.
I really loved happy hour, but I don't think that can be published. So we put that one around. Love doing happy hour with my friends.